Yes, 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 I know. I hear a lot of screams. Junkrat, die. But you guys are all getting your asses kicked by a sniper, Hanzo, and a asshole known as Roadhog. Speaking of that, is there a spider on my shoe by chance? Okay, it's not as good compared to the other Reapers, but let's review Reaper anyway, shall we? So, Reaper, one of the offensive heroes with 250 health, more average than the other heroes as well. So let's talk about his weapon and his passive at the same time. His weapons are the Hellfire shotguns, which fire 8 rounds at 2 rounds per second with a 1.5-second reload, but the damage can be big. It does 2 to 7 damage per pellet, 20 pellets, and can total up to 140 damage. And yes, these can headshot. And though those globes, those are called the Reaping, which collect souls from 5 meters, and each of them will contain 50 health from every time that someone from the enemy side is dead. Let's look at the other abilities, shall we? Speaking of that ability and his weapons, he has two other abilities as well. The first one being called Shadow Step. Now, Shadow Step, you can move around on this thing. You have to choose a place where you have to teleport. You can choose from either the top or at the bottom or anywhere else, but it has to work within 35 meters as I demonstrate right here. And this thing has a 10-second cooldown as well. This thing can be really good at getting some high-ranking flanks, use Death Blossom from above, and get rid of pesky enemy snipers. And it's really good for on top of things as well, so you can escape real easily, but do be warned you can be harmed while using the teleporter as well. Now for the other ability, this one is a little hard to describe with this one, but this is Shadow Step. You will be immune to damage for 3 seconds, and you can still contest points with it, or contest points with it, I'm sorry. And it has an 8-second cooldown. This is good when you're behind enemy lines and you're killing people, and if you are getting outnumbered, you can easily just use this and escape. But don't go traveling too far, otherwise you are going to get your ass kicked. And finally, the ultimate, which you probably know right now, which is Death Blossom. This thing does 40 damage per tick with an 8-meter range and a 3-second duration. In total, it can do about 510 damage, one of the weakest ultimates out of all of them. But it's good when they're all grouped up, and so you can easily just shred them all real easily with it, or if they're just not aware of your presence as well. So without further ado, let's show how to play him. Now, how to use Reaper, he can be pretty fun to use. He is very lethal up close, especially into the tanks because of their size. He can easily kill them off within a couple of shots. Pick off lone targets while you're flanking. Always focus the game around the Wraith form in case you have to escape. And use ridges to surprise enemy group with Death Blossom so you can easily get like 3, 4, or maybe 5 kills on with this. But I usually get around like 2 or 3, which is always fine with me. So without further ado, let me show you some gameplay with Reaper. thank you all very much for watching. GalacticStorm saying vote, rate, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And I'll see you guys later.